Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast, where we bring you unique insight and analysis covering your favorite teams at the collegiate and professional levels. I'm your host, Chase Yance. Got it right this time. To my right is Matt Ricketts. What's up?
What's going on, boys? I'm ready to rock and roll, talk a little football.
Yes, sir. Here we come. Here we come. We're on them. And right below, you got Brady King. What's up, Brady?
Oh, man, not too much. Just ready to, get back on here this fine Tuesday after a long day. Get on here and make some reactions to everything that went on this weekend. Some crazy, crazy stuff.
Most definitely. Like said, I mean, we talking about the college games on Saturday, NFL games Sunday. There was a lot that just went on, and we got to break some of it down because, I mean, wow. There was a lot of chaos, though. There was a lot of chaos on Sunday for sure. Saturday, there was a good amount of stuff going on. I'm sorry, but we're going to get right into it. It's an insight there. We're going to get right into it, all right? Talking about college football week 2. You know what? I'm just going to kind of open it up for you guys. Take it away, guys. What do you guys want to talk about that happened this weekend? Because there was a lot of good things.
How about the Texas Longhorns?
All right, yeah, it's good. So let's talk
about that. I mean, they came out, really they have a 4-quarter game, right? Start to finish. I mean, you look at it. Now, obviously, I wasn't fortunate enough to watch the game because I had to work. So, just from hearing all the input, I watched a couple videos on YouTube. Actually, I listened to Joel Klatt talk about it. He called the game. I was watching the score throughout. But a lot of people would think if Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt, they win that game by 10 points, 2 possessions. So, I mean, Brady, me and you talked about it off screen. We thought Texas would end up being ranked, even though they lost.
Right.
So, which they did. So, I mean,
the Bama factor.
I think you got to, yeah, right. I think you just got to look at them as a serious threat now in the Big 12, just because of with Baylor losing, the competition in the Big 12. You still got Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, who are both in the top 10 right now too. So we'll see, but I think you got to really consider Texas as a legitimate threat now. You really do for the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, I'm right with you there. I think Texas really showed me something that I didn't expect to see, which was some physicality and the ability to get after the quarterback. Again, I did not think this would be the greatest game. I thought it was like 2 great programs battling it out. But with the way Texas is right now, there's just was no shot to me that they were going to be able to take down the ultimate juggernaut of the college football world in Alabama. But their offense at times, especially with Quinn, was absolutely rolling. If Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt, which me and Chase watched this entire game, we had 2 TV screens playing. Yep. I thought Texas's offense looked really good, especially with Quinn. I think he threw the ball downfield at a great, unbelievable rate, especially against a team like Bama. And I thought, the passing game looked nice. Their offense showed me some things, and I thought they pass blocked really well compared to what we expected. They had a freshman blocking Will Anderson, and he absolutely stoned him all game until the end. Will got a sack, but it was not. It was off. He was unblocked. It was just off of he was supposed to be like the read guy, and they just messed it up. But man, I mean, it also shows that Alabama is human. That's what I took out of this game. Is not exactly that Texas is this doesn't mean Texas is the number 2 team in the country. This means that Alabama might not be the unbeatable team we once thought they were. And I'm just going to say it. What did I say about the Alabama wide receivers?
We talked about this. We talked about it Saturday too.
We did, and I just saw what they were bringing out onto the field, and I'm not very impressed. I don't think their offense is that good. I just don't. I think their running game is average because Jahmyr Gibbs is like a kind of a pass catching running back, and he can run, but and then their pass game is another. I wouldn't even call it that above average. It's not a championship level passing team, and when you have the returning Heisman quarterback, you expect it to be. And I will say he didn't have much help from his receivers in terms of creating separation, and when they did, they had a couple of drop passes. So Bryce Young was average. Not like an atrocious game, but didn't really do anything special. And that's really all my thoughts. I just think that Texas is probably better than we thought, and Alabama is a little worse than we thought.
Well, I will say this
Go ahead,
though.
Chase, go ahead.
Okay, but I will say this. So, I mean, obviously Bryce Young didn't play great, didn't play spectacular, or anything like that. But I will say, I mean, the last play of the game where they needed to really get in field goal range. I know it wasn't a throw or anything like that, but you got to keep it real. He did make a play. All right, dude did miss a sack though. It was a straight sack that he missed. All right, and just would have wrapped him up. Who knows what would have happened? Situational football. Who knows?
Guess what I found out that was? Guess who missed the sack? Former Ohio State corner Ryan Watts, who transferred. I didn't even realize that was him in real time. I was like, well, of course he was. He sucked.
I just think the weapons of Bama have taken a significant step back this year. Does that make sense?
I agree with that. Yeah,
I think physically up front on their offensive line, I think they're just not they're not a typical Alabama offensive line. They're just not as physical right now, and I also think Alabama struggles on the road a lot. This iteration of Alabama with Bryce Young and this team.
Yeah,
last year against Florida, they won by like 3 at Florida on the road.
Yep.
Auburn.
Very tough.
How many overtimes did that game go to against Auburn?
Two, I think. Ole Miss scored Ole Miss scored like 50 or something
right,
crazy.
So
that was 2 years ago, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm fucked. Yeah.
So they went on the road against Auburn. They played terrible. That was I thought for sure through 3/4 of that game they were losing that game. Auburn was absolutely dominating.
Mm-hmm. So, Tank ran out of bounds instead of getting tackled in bounds.
Right.
They would have ran out the clock.
Yep.
And then this year, you think about their schedule coming up. They go at Arkansas, top 10 team. They go at Tennessee, Hendon Hooker. They go at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Those are 3 road games where they've really struggled on the road recently.
Right.
In the past couple years under this just new I'm not talking just Saban overall. I'm saying with the players he has now in this core group, these guys have struggled on the road the past couple years. And they've got 3 really tough road tests coming throughout the rest of the season. So I think, Bama's got they had a ton of penalties. They got to clean that stuff up if they're going to be able to travel and play well because those teams aren't bad. Arkansas is if they go in and take Arkansas lightly and play like they did against Texas, they'll lose. They'll lose the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it is early. It's only week 2, so maybe we just kind of relax a little bit on Bama, but also at the same time, we've seen it for 2 years now. They've struggled in big time games on the road, so we'll wait and see. But I think it's something to watch out for sure.
This is why we're reacting, though. We're really putting our thoughts on the table, and we're just kind of trying to just sort them out and everything. And what I will say is, you obviously mentioned Alabama. They play, obviously tough road opponents when it comes to Arkansas, and they got Tennessee, and then go on ahead later on. You got Ole Miss. Like the thing is, I want to look at Tennessee for real. All right, Tennessee, that game. So Alabama plays Texas A&M the week before they play Tennessee. I know Texas A&M lost to App State, so there's still going to be a little bit of bad blood from the whole thing with Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, all that stuff going on. But, talking about, I'm not going to say necessarily a trap game since Tennessee's like top 15 right now, but, riding a lit too high and then walking into another team's stadium where it's like, oh, we were not expecting to get punched like this and taking punches and all. And, like said, all these crowds are going to be giving Alabama their best shot. Like the crowd's going to be in it. The teams are going to be giving them their best shots because, like you said, it's 3 quality opponents that they're going to have to go on the road and play against, even though they just played Texas and they just barely escaped by the skin of their teeth and all. So like it's going to be, it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher, especially since it's coming into conference play. And Alabama in the past, like. I remember Ole Miss back in, I think it was 2014 when, what was it, Bo Wallace, I think was his name?
Yep,
Bo Wallace and them, they went in. They defeated Alabama, and Alabama made
Alabama
the
twice
playoff
in a row.
that year. Yes,
Yeah,
they
they
did
beat
in
them that year.
2015. Chad Kelly beat them in 2015. Like, and then obviously Auburn's had their number when it comes to playing at Auburn. But I mean, Alabama, they're gonna have to tighten some shit up. They really got to tighten some stuff up because I mean, this ain't the same looking Alabama team that we've seen, as you guys said. And these teams that they're going to play against, especially Arkansas, when it comes to the first road game, they're getting better. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Alabama really tries to pick up the tempo.
I can't wait to watch that game. I mean,
I can't either.
We thought Bama's defense was going to be insane.
Yep.
And a very young Texas team, like we talked about last week on the preview, Texas is really, really young. They had a true freshman blocking Will Anderson all game. Like I said, they had like 4 freshmen starting on the offensive line and ended up moving the ball, like just playing a really good game. Like, how good is Bama? Like, we'll see. They
were driving every drive with Quinn too. Basically,
right.
True freshman quarterback was just moving the ball on them.
Yep.
Right. So we'll see. Like I said, I think they got a lot of quality opponents coming up, so they'll have their chance to prove themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you got 3 ranked opponents in a row when it comes starting on October. October 1st is Arkansas. October the 8th is at home against Texas A&M, and October the 15th is at Tennessee. So it's going to be a tough 3-game stretch, especially going into going on the road twice. So, I think we were going back to the receivers and all. This isn't the same, like Brady said. He made a really good point about a week or two ago, but. When it comes to like coming into the season, Alabama, it seems like their guys have always been on the same page. Like literally coming into the season, Bryce Young and Jameson Williams were on the same page right from the jump last year. That's not the case for these guys. There's not a guy that's really that's separating himself from the pack right now. Jameson Williams separated himself from the pack, but then he also had John Mechie. He had John Mechie last year, but then Mac Jones had John Mechie the year before. He really even wasn't the one. All right, they had a couple. Devontae Smith. There was a lot of Alabama receivers that really set themselves apart from the pack and knew their roles. These Alabama receivers do not know their roles, and it is already in the game too. And normally this would be settled like in the off season, in fall camp, and everything. So they're going through a bit of an identity crisis right now.
Absolutely, it just feels like at receiver they always had 2 guys that were the star with another young guy right behind them that was really good. So that when those 2 left, they just move up. It's like a reload. I mean, it's like Ohio State's receivers now. And recently, I mean, if you really want to look at it, since Devontae Smith left, they're getting transfers now. Where are the receivers that we're recruiting? Like, where's Emeka Egbuka? You get what I'm saying? They still recruit good receivers. Don't get me wrong, but their best ones are now the past 2 years have been transfers from other schools.
Yep. This year, the number 1 wideout transfer.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Jermaine Burton.
Last year from our school.
Jameson Williams. That's what I'm saying. The last few years, they haven't been.
Was by far the best player on their offense, not including Bryce Young, if you want to.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. So the past 2 years, I mean, they're not Alabama recruited guys anymore. That's a transition that Alabama's going through now. Before, I mean, they had Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Julio Jones way back, Amari Cooper,
Jerry Jeudy, and all
Jerry
that.
Jeudy. You just keep going on all day long. Like it was just loaded. Now it's just like, where's that at? You know what I mean? So
it's kind of disappeared since Devontae, and I know it's only been a couple of years, but I haven't really seen even a glimpse of that being a possibility. Other than Jameson Williams, too.
That's what I'm saying. So it's an interesting thing to watch. I mean, Ohio State's definitely dominating that position nationally right now. There's no doubt about it. So, but
I mean, JSN goes out and our number 2 and 3 are averaging over 100 yards receiving a game.
Right. So it's a different thing. I mean, it's different.
Well, the thing about that transfer portal is, I mean, the number one thing that teams look at, and that just goes to all of college sports, you get older quicker. That's what it is. You got some guys that they didn't get a shot at a school, and then they're obviously they have some experience and they're able to jump into another school and trying to get their shot. But then there's some guys that are like, okay, I'm really good. It's just the system's not working out, so I'm going to go to the biggest school out there. And you have all of that experience. You have a bit of that background. And you're just trying to even really improve your resume as well as help a team win a national championship. That's what the transfer portal is. I'm not going to sit here and like try to, I'm not going to say we're overreacting to Alabama or to the receivers and stuff like that, but we got to keep it real. Like, we haven't seen this from the last, I honestly say the last 10 years of Alabama football, where they've had no receivers out there. So it is proper to react the way that we are reacting. I'm not going to count them out, because it is Nick Saban. They're they're the standard. All right. They're the standard in college football. Let's not forget that. But
and they won the game.
They won the game.
They did find a way to win. You know what I mean? They did find a way to win.
They found a way. That's just what it is. And I mean, you got.
I understand. But sometimes in college football, you just got to find a way to win a game. They got outplayed. They still found a way to win. Whatever. Just move on to the next week. So we'll see.
Yeah. You finish undefeated in college football, and you're a Power 5 school. You're going to the playoff. That's really what it comes down to. I know Bryce Young didn't have a good game, but Bryce Young made a play when he needed to. That's what you want in a quarterback. I'm just saying, you want a guy that's going to make plays when he needs to make plays. He was not making plays with his arm. Okay, that's just the bottom line. But when it comes to a guy that needs to make a play, said play, who knows what play it is, he made it. As unfortunate as it is, because obviously they're they're the competition and everything, he made the play. But who knows what will be coming up and all, because they're going to be playing some even better opponents.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, and looking around the rest of college football, there were some pretty good games that went on. I mean, you had Baylor, BYU went to double overtime. I know Matt was praying to praying, not the Mormon guys, but praying over there. And
I was sweating that one. I mean, it was 2:30 Eastern time.
Yeah.
Me and Brady are up. Brady's about to fall asleep on the couch. I've drank a lot of beer. I had a couple margaritas.
I left about 1 o'clock. So me and
Caleb were still awake on the couch.
Yep.
Jade was over there. He had enough sleep. I had to wake him up at the end of the game. I mean, it was a thriller, man. I mean, that kicker missed it. I thought we were fucked. I really did. I thought we were done.
Yeah.
But just for everybody at home, I had BYU money line here. And I had a bad week.
Right. He got it right, though. He got this one right, though. I got
this one right. So I kind of ended up – I didn't salvage my week, but I ended up moving my way. I got a little bit
but we're going to bounce back. We are going to bounce back.
Gain a little ground back with BYU on that money line there. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, by the way, BYU plays Oregon this week for the preview here within whatever we go with that. So that's another game to watch out for this week too.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I was excited. I mean, I think this. We talked about Baylor. I think we all picked Baylor last week to win, or at least I did.
I picked BYU. I think I picked.
Did you pick BYU?
Yeah, just because it's a home game like that,
But it's just like shit. Like the Big 12, I think just goes through Texas and Oklahoma. I really do. This year, I really do. I don't see Baylor as good this year as they were last year. What about you, Brady?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think they're as good as last year. I think they lost some pieces in the secondary and out wide.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do think that Texas, Oklahoma are the leaders of the Big 12 right now in terms of what I've seen so far this year. Oklahoma State just isn't looking as good on defense, but their offense is looking pretty solid. But I just don't know if they can hang with Oklahoma and Texas in like a shootout form of a game. But yeah, that's not much to say about this game, honestly. It was just kind of Matt just wanted to win. We didn't know much about either team, and Matt just
we made it known on the show. We were just watching the game,
We didn't even pick. It wasn't even one of my picks coming in.
Yeah.
I just you're stuck. You got to get some money back.
Just kind of threw it on there. You got to do anything for the cash right
now. Worse or better off of that game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it was we always look for those Pac-12 after dark games. When you're, late Saturday night, you're buzzing around.
Sunday morning, basically.
Sunday morning. I mean, 2:30.
Yeah. 2:30 in the morning.
I haven't been up that late in a long time. I mean,
that's by far the latest I've stayed up for a football game ever.
That's the time I just go around sleepwalking. I didn't have that game on my mind at all. I was going to the bathroom.
That's what we look for. Watching football with your friends. I mean, we watched.
Oh, for sure.
2:30 a.m. I mean, that was awesome. So
Yeah, there's a
that was
lot
a
of
great game.
games. A lot of games we watched on Saturday. That's for sure.
Oh,
You guys
yeah.
watched a little bit more, but I had to prepare for. But I'm not. We're gonna wait to talk about that.
I wasn't even gonna watch that game, and then Matt bet on it, and I just watched it. I was like,
Right down to the very end.
I had to. You had to give me some moral support.
yeah, I did.
Exactly. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. You needed some more support that day, but hey, it's gonna get better though. But I will say this: this was arguably I don't even know if this was a better game. Tennessee, Pittsburgh, 34-27.
I mean, this is a great game too. Really, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, Pittsburgh came out swinging, man. Obviously, you guys know it's one of Matt's picks. Pittsburgh plus 6.5.
Yep.
You look at the score; it was pretty fucking close. Vegas knows what the fuck they're doing. But anyways, 10-0. They come out swinging, and then just the big plays for Tennessee. Pittsburgh just couldn't stop the big plays. Hendon Hooker's got a cannon, man. And Tennessee's got some really good athletes on the outside
it's a
too.
controlled cannon too. Like it's like he knows how to. He doesn't just chuck it down the field like.
I mean, there was just a couple. They had 2 or 3 chunk plays, big play touchdowns that Pittsburgh just couldn't overcome. I think Tennessee. Personally, I think watching that game, Tennessee. I'm sold more on Tennessee than I thought I was going to be. I think Tennessee can compete on the edge, on the outsides. With their athletes they have, I think they can compete with Georgia and Bama. I think that they're not as good on the interior yet up front as Georgia or Bama are. And that's really where Georgia and Bama still separate themselves. The front 7 on defense, offensive defense line, whatever. So I think in the trenches, Tennessee's going to lose a lot of battles. But on the edges, I think if Tennessee gets in a shootout with either Bama or Georgia, I think they could give them a run for their money. Now I'm going to pick Bama or Georgia both either way because Tennessee plays them both every year.
Right.
But I just think Hendon Hooker's a really good player, and I think they're going to be able to score points against anybody for sure.
For sure. And I really, as well, I'm a fan of Tennessee. I didn't really like. Obviously, I didn't care who won this game as much as Matt did, but I wanted to just see what these two teams.
I had a bad week. All right, I'm sorry.
He did.
Yeah.
But in my preseason, like just opinions on these two teams, I for sure had Tennessee above Pittsburgh, and it was a close game. I mean, road win for Tennessee nice win for them for sure. And again, I came out thinking Tennessee has a good offense, man. Like I like what they bring to the table there with Hendon Hooker, Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt, and all these guys on their outside. I really do think that Hendon Hooker is a top 5, top 10 QB in college football. And I just like what Tennessee offense brings this year, and I think that they have a spoiler role potentially for this season to one of Alabama or Georgia. And it really sucks they have a rivalry with Alabama and have to play them every single year on the 3rd Saturday of October.
The 3rd Saturday of October. That's a tradition that I think everyone – I think that's a tradition that a lot of people have forgot about.
It's a game that hasn't been good.
Yeah,
it's a game that hasn't been good in years.
Years.
Actually, I take that back. Tennessee played good the first half last year. It was actually
They actually
Alabama
competed.
sucked a lot of games last year. Like they really weren't that good.
And it was on the road. It was at Tennessee. Or no. It was at Alabama.
Yep.
It was at Alabama last year. This year it's at Tennessee. That's what I was saying. Yeah. So it's at Tennessee this year. So that's going to be even bigger. But what I was saying was it hasn't been a game where both teams have been good in decades.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's been one or the other because Alabama was down in the early 2000s too. So it was different.
Yeah.
That was early 2000s, late 90s. That was mostly Tennessee. In the 90s, Tennessee was really good.
90, yeah.
So, but like I said, I mean, it was when Tennessee was good. It was a hell of it was one of the best rivalries in the sport. It's just been a long time. So that'll be kind of we'll see how Tennessee and Bama keep going, obviously. But I mean, that has the makings of being a hell of a football game this year too.
Definitely. There's going to be a lot of hype going into that game, but we can also see if this thing will live up to the hype because we've seen a lot of things where that's happened.
Tennessee could fall right off. I think they play Florida coming up here before they even play Bama. I'd have to look at Tennessee's schedule. They got Florida, Kentucky, Georgia, and Bama at some point.
Yep. Next Saturday is when
so
they
I was
play
right.
Florida.
Yeah, I thought they played Florida coming up.
3:30 on CBS. So we got to definitely keep an eye on that game. That'll potentially be a Matt's pick game.
Yep.
Who knows? But obviously that Tennessee and Alabama, the third Saturday in October for you guys at home to realize that. But before we kind of switch over to NFL talk in about 5-10 minutes, whatever, we got to talk about the Big Ten East. All right. You guys, I think we want to, you guys want to discuss a little bit about this because it's been going very, very good the last, the first 2 weeks, see how things progress. But I give the floor to you.
First off, I kind of want to discuss, let's discuss the Buckeyes as the first Big Ten East topic real quick, just due to the fact, I didn't even know you had a graphic for it, but there it is.
Oh, I had it.
They won this game by 33 points, baby. We won. Just wanted to discuss, obviously we're not going to talk about Arkansas State. We're really going to talk about what we saw from Ohio State because we knew we'd win. So CJ Stroud, obviously great game by him. Threw for like 354, or I think it was 4 touchdowns. Yeah, 350 and 4 touchdowns. Should have been 5. They called a Marvin Harrison Jr. touchdown incomplete when it was a touchdown. Great game by CJ. Travion Henderson had some nice runs. Same with Mayan Williams. Nice day in the running game. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. absolutely exploded to what people were, expecting out of him. Actually, more than what they were expecting out of him. But when you don't have Jackson Smith and Jibba, there's always that possibility of another one of our star receivers showing up. And that's just why Marvin Harrison was making plays that just were a different type of receiver at Ohio State. More of that big body type of player that just goes up and gets it and can really win one-on-one matchups. And it was just really nice to see. He had 184, 3 touchdowns. Should have had 204 touchdowns, but great game by him. Emeka Egbuka, 118 receiving yards and a touchdown. He's averaging over 100 yards a game. And then defensively, Michael Hall showing up. JT Tuimoloau was causing a lot of pressure. Steel Chambers and Tommy Eichenberg played a good game. And then Denzel Burke kind of sucked. But, hopefully he can find his footing there at DB.
Who's the best quarterback on Ohio State football? No, I'm just kidding.
Cam Brown is actually the best corner in Ohio State, I believe.
Okay. So we'll have a little debate with you two there. But all right. From what you listened to, Matt, what did you think? I
watched this game. I went back and watched.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
But biggest thing for me, I think, which is going to pay dividends down the road, our red zone defense is really, really, really good. We don't give up touchdowns. We've given up one so far this year. 4 field goals when they drive down the field and get into the red zone. That's huge. So when we play big time opponents, they're going to be able to move the ball. Good teams find the way to move the ball a lot. Not letting them get in the end zone when they drive down the field is massive. I mean, it looks much better to win games 45 or 30-12, 45, 40-12 or whatever, as opposed to like 63-40 or something. You know what I mean? It's just so relieving that our red zone defense is so good. Now, we did give up some big chunk plays. Denzel did not have a good game. He played bad. So I think there are some things to clean up, which is always good. You know what I mean? It's always good to have – you don't want to just play nobody plays a perfect game. It's always good to have things to clean up. But I think we're going to – offensively, Brady hit on everything. I don't even really need to talk about it. Everybody knows. I mean, it's the best offense in football. Like it just is. So we're catching our stride there. But defensively, it just continues to impress me. So I was excited about us not giving – I kept texting Brady during the game, we're keeping him out of the end zone. Like, that's huge. Yep. Like, especially for a new defense, a new system and everything like that, we're keeping people out of the end zone. Like, that didn't happen in the last few years from Buckeye football. It just didn't. They ended up scoring. So, I mean, it's huge. Obviously, it sounds it's simple, stupid, but 3 points and 6 points, or 3 points and 7 points, that's a huge difference in throughout the course of the game.
Sure.
But also the Big Ten East undefeated, 14-0. Isn't that crazy?
Undefeated.
I think you could really. I think it's probably the best division in football. I do. I think it's probably
for sure. I agree.
I think it's the best division of football. I don't think it. I think the SEC West, top to bottom, recruits better than our division does. But I think in terms of top 4 teams, if you look at it from each division, the SEC West, Big Ten East, I think you'd say the top 4 of the Big Ten East are stronger than the top 4 of the SEC West, especially after A&M loses to App State.
I'll break it down.
I mean, that's
I'll break
just
it down real quick to just show not look biased. Ohio State equals Alabama. We'll just say that for now because there's no one separating each other.
Yeah, right.
Michigan over Arkansas.
Michigan, A&M,
or Michigan State over
or Arkansas, right?
Or not Arkansas, because Arkansas, Michigan over Arkansas, right? Like I said, and then A&M is obviously they lost to Appalachian State. I would put Penn State or Michigan State over them, and then with Ole Miss, same way. I'd put Penn State or Michigan over them, or what's it called? Michigan State. Yeah. Michigan State. I'd put. I think the Big Ten East is looking a lot stronger than the Big Ten West. Big Ten West is Big Ten East is really good, and I also think Maryland's a good team.
Right.
I'd take them over some of the bottom feeders in that division, or just as good. Like I'd take Maryland just on par with Auburn this year, which sounds hilarious, but I don't think Auburn's very good. And then Indiana, Rutgers, and all those other. They all suck. So
the bottom feeders.
We got another big test. I mean, Penn State plays Auburn
on the road.
So that's
3:30 CBS.
That's a tough environment.
It's a loud place to play. I mean,
it is.
They love football down in Alabama, so I mean that's going to be a big game for sure. But Penn State's favored by 2.5. It might be a Matt's pick. We don't know yet. It could be.
We'll see.
It could be a Matt's pick.
See.
We'll see.
It might be one of my picks too. I know.
Okay, we got to get you on there too. All right. He's coming out of his shell. Coming out of the shell. I will say in a class today, in my public speaking class, we actually did I think my teacher was talking about, or professor was talking about, what she grew up right outside of Happy Valley State College, all that stuff. So she brought up something about Penn State football, and I immediately thought about their whiteouts that they would have, and that they're playing Auburn this weekend and all this, which should be a good game for sure.
It'll be a great game.
But
sure. Like I said, the Big Ten East. I mean, they're 14-0. You go 7 teams, 2-0 each. We're off to a great start. Two tests, 2 really big ones, as far as or 3 actually. Or no. I'm sorry. It's two big game. Michigan State.
How many is it, Matt?
It's
okay.
2.
Okay.
I apologize. All right. Michigan State at Washington. Washington's actually favored in that game, plus 3.5. So we'll see.
They're a hostile environment down there.
Yeah, Seattle, the 12th man. It's loud out there. It's just like the Seattle Seahawks. Those
so the 12th man last night.
Yeah, I mean it's loud as shit out there.
They love it.
And then obviously, like we said, Penn State at Auburn. So I mean, we'll see we'll see if the Big Ten East can stay undefeated. I would say, Michigan plays Colorado or UConn. So
how awesome's that?
That's going to be a barn burner, right?
For sure.
Would be so nice. Meanwhile, the third team we get to play is giving up 50 yards passing per game, and has one of the top defenses in the nation statistically somehow.
Statistically, right now, Toledo is number 4 in the country total defense allowed.
They're they're the best MAC team basically is what.
So I mean, I still think we roll, but we'll see.
But if we struggle or something early. Like, if we give up a touchdown and we still roll them pretty good, I wouldn't put too much into that because, Toledo should have beat Notre Dame last year.
Right, that's true.
Yep.
And, just stuff like that you think of, and it's like, wow, we're still going to roll.
We'll save all of our thoughts and all the all the stuff that we got. We'll talk college football previews and picks, and that show will release at noon on Thursday. So we'll be good on that. We'll definitely be able to dive in on topics for that too.
We definitely will.
As we get
some NFL,
and I am too. Let's get into this NFL.
Are you ready? Are you ready to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals?
Trust me, I've broken down the game for a very long time. I'll tell you this, all right. But first, we're gonna actually talk about the Bills and the Rams. I don't think we really got a time to talk.
Oh, come on! We want the
It's
Bengals.
It's next on the panel. Don't worry. Bills beat the Rams 31-10. The Rams came out rusty. They didn't look like they had a left tackle when Joe Noteboom. He let up a couple sacks for Matt Stafford to just end up being on the ground. The Bills defense looked great. The offense was fantastic. It was flying around. You guys watched this game on Thursday. Is that correct? Like, what'd you guys see from this?
So I think the Bills the offseason narrative from what I heard was that they may be the best team in the NFL by some people. Yeah. And I thought they definitely showed that they at least are in the argument and have a really good argument. A really good argument for that. Yeah. But it looked really good. Josh Allen looked unbelievably good, threading some needles. Stephon Diggs is a beast. They just played a great game on defense too. And then, Cooper Kupp on offense for the Rams still did his thing. Matt Stafford was not great.
Matt Stafford was awful.
He wasn't very good. Yeah. He wasn't.
Both Super Bowl quarterbacks are not good this week, but yeah, like it just wasn't a good showing.
Yeah. Allen Robinson didn't do anything either, really. So
didn't get any targets. I don't know if there was any separation issues that was involved when it came to
I would guess there were, honestly, because I would guess there was a little bit but based on what I've seen from Allen Robinson these past couple of years, he just doesn't seem to, he's a good contested catch receiver usually. Yeah. I don't love his ability to separate. I've always kind of thought that he was a little bit overrated from that sense, but I still do think he could get some more targets to prove what he can do. And then I really like I still really like the Rams this year, obviously.
Yeah, I think they're going to get things turned around and all, but okay, Matt, you want to talk about this game? Here you go. All right. Steelers, Bengals. Yep. You're really playing it. Who
they say gonna beat them Bengals?
Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Ourselves. We beat ourselves Sunday. I broke this thing down so many freaking times. It was the first quarter.
Let's be real. Yeah.
What?
I mean, let's be real. Joe Burrow, one of the worst games he's ever gonna play. Okay.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, I can't think. I mean, 5 takeaways. Was it 5?
Yeah, 5. 4 picks, fumble.
I think personally the bigger takeaway for a Bengals fan the thing you need to be more worried about. Okay, the thing you need to be more worried about is they gave up 7 sacks. 7 sacks when they said that they really upgraded the offense. Their biggest deal last year was how bad their offensive line was. They still gave up 7 sacks. Okay. I think personally that's got to be the number one thing. Joe Burrow's not going to turn the ball over 5 times every week. Okay. No. But getting that offensive line right, I mean, go out and spend all that money. Didn't they get a Kansas City offensive lineman? What's his name?
They did not. They were going to get him last year, but
who'd they get? Who was their biggest?
They got Ted Karras. They got Alex Kappa from Tampa. Ted Karras came from New England.
That's right.
Lyle Collins came from Dallas.
Lionel Collins came from Dallas. Yes, Lionel Collins came from Dallas, right?
I do want to talk.
So they got like 2 or 3 different offensive linemen. Yeah, so that's my biggest deal for the Bengals right now.
Okay. Actually, I do want to hear Brady's perspective as he is a Steelers fan. So fuck you for that. But yeah, what'd you think? What'd you think?
I'm very happy about this game.
Fuck.
Take the W. I thought the defense looked really good. Caused a lot of havoc. Obviously, Joe Burrow first coming right out the gate. It just seemed like we were getting back to the quarterback. And looked like the secondary played well. Obviously, Minkah Fitzpatrick had a good game. And I thought Cam Sutton played good as well for the most part. And I really just happy to get that win on the road to start off the year. The offense was not great. I'll be honest. It needs to improve to get to the level we need to be. But a win is a win in the division that you can get, and happy to get that one over with. It got really interesting. Obviously the craziest game of the year easily so far with all the everything that happened. And yeah, they'll meet again, obviously, eventually at Pittsburgh. I believe that is a Sunday night football game that Chase will be going to.
No smiles at all. No
Yeah.
smiles at all in that game.
Touchdown, Bengals! Let's win that game for Cincinnati.
Nah, okay. Let me do this. Do you want me to give you the long, drawn out version of this, or do you want me to give you the simplified version?
Either way,
I'm going to break it down. I'm just going to break it down. All right.
Just break it
I
down.
want you to go ahead and break his. I want you to go ahead and break his down from a fundamental standpoint. All right, break it down for me. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, here we go. Joe Burrow. Okay, he looked like his timing was off. It just did not look good. All right. I'm not saying he should have played in the preseason at all. The whole narrative of, you should play Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, guys like that in the preseason. Hell no. It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous to have those guys go out in the preseason. The offensive line, okay, we'll say that, okay? Those guys should have went out and played. But at the same time, La'el Collins also only practiced, I think it was 3 times this training camp. He practiced twice, which was during a joint practice against the Rams, all right? Practiced twice there. I think he practiced really only 1 time for that. He just kind of went out there. He kind of just, freelanced it a bit, and he did not look spectacular, really didn't. If you want to go left to right, Jonah Williams looked pretty bad. He gave up 2 bad sacks, not a whole lot of pressures after that. Cordo Volson, the rookie from North Dakota State, 4th-round pick, obviously looked like a rookie. He did not look great either. Ted Karras, I thought, honestly, it's between him and Kappa that played the better game. Ted Karras actually had like a 90 blocking rate from Pro Football Focus. Like, he really did a good job in the run game and the pass blocking and all. And Alex Kappa, from what I saw from Joe Burrow ran him like once or twice. I think Joe Burrow was trying to get his feel back in the pocket and all. So obviously, I'll get to Joe Burrow in just a second, but I thought Kappa played well. I thought Karras played decent. I thought he played pretty well. But here's the thing. With an offensive line, they got to get that communication down. They got to play together more and more, and I think it's going to gel more and more together. I think the money that we spent is, I think it will pay off is what I'm going to say. Do you think I'm going to be really panicking after this game because of Joe Burrow playing a really bad game, but at the same time threw for 350 and 2 touchdowns? One of those really should have been the game-winning touchdown, but we'll get into that in a second. Should I be worried? I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried yet, all right? If we lose to Dallas this week, that's a whole other story. You might not see me on the show next week. But, we move into the run game.
For a second, if you'd be on the show this week, just immediately after.
Oh, no. I'm definitely was doing this. No, I wasn't
positive.
Yeah, but then
I knew you would come around, but
yeah. But you look at the run game. Cincinnati ran the ball for about 140 yards. 140 yards as a team. Joe Mixon at 82 yards. They ran him quite a bit. He was getting stuffed a little bit here and there, but he found some running lanes and all. He played a really good game overall. Joe Burrow had some nice runs actually. Like his longest was like a 25-yard run, kind of later in the game in the 4th quarter. And then throwing the ball. It was that first half. Think about this. He had 5 turnovers, 7 sacks. Some of the sacks were on him. He's got to learn to throw the football away sometimes. And I think if he threw the football away on a couple of those, the offensive line's at 4 sacks. Still not good, but it's better than what it was. Better, and obviously stuff will come together. Joe Burrow find footing, and he did find footing later in the game. He actually settled in a bit, and he did make some plays down the stretch that he needed to make to win that football game. 5 turnovers, 7 sacks, and we still almost win. I'm not trying to say, that's something that we should definitely applaud, but it's like you clean up, you take away 2 of those turnovers, in the first half, because let's not say Pittsburgh was literally locking us down, clamping us down. We were moving down the field, and then it would be a pick. Move down the field, pick. We were moving on the Steelers a good amount of the day. All right. We're not, obviously we lost, and I'm not trying to defend us for losing. All right. I'm just saying, I'm keeping it real here. We moved down the field on Pittsburgh, and honestly, when we needed to move down the field on Pittsburgh, we did. Now, Mitch Wilcox, when it comes to long snapping, I mean, like they gotta have Cincinnati's like coaching management. They gotta have a better play. They gotta have a better plan for that. All right. Like, I'm not saying you should have brought up Cal Adamitis from the practice squad right now or whatever. Like he's in street clothes for the game, but they gotta have some type of coaching management better. Like Zach Taylor called a terrible game. He was awful. The play calling was just, I did not like it one bit, and I'd said that a lot over the last couple of seasons. The Jamar catch, I think it was about 2:40 left in the game. Jamar caught a pass, which was actually at the goal line, and you could clearly see in the photo that, the ball broke the plane. It was a touchdown. You got to challenge that. Why rush up to the ball when you have all the time in the world to throw the red challenge flag and be like, hey, let's look at this. We don't need to rush. We're at the 1 yard line. We ended up getting stuffed that drive. We ended up going 4 downs, and we ended up, not even scoring on that drive. We had another drive afterwards, and we scored. But, I've broken this thing down about 4 times in the last 48 hours. And from what I've seen, and I'll talk about the defense. Defense, I thought the defense played fine. The 99% of the game, the defense played great. Pittsburgh's offense, and I'm not even trying to say this as, you guys are rivals. Pittsburgh's offense looked pathetic. They looked bad. All right. They had some misdirection. They had a lot, some misdirection plays that were good. Pittsburgh's offense looked pathetic. Like, and our defense looked good, but, and Pittsburgh's defense played better than our defense. But I'm just saying it from from my perspective. I think the defense really stopped the run well. I think Pittsburgh ran for maybe 50 or 60 yards. Najee Harris had like 20 yards on like 15 carries. And then that last 1% of the game, we had Sam Hubbard jump off sides. Mitch is able to make a free play. Pat Fryer moved twice, actually. It was big on that drive. And, when you look at special teams, comes down to the kicks. It's the snap wasn't great. You got to get the kick down. You got to get the hold down. And I go back to coaching. This was one of Zach Taylor's worst, planned out games as it goes on the fly. It was awful. It was terrible. But I will say, before I move on to another game, because I've been talking about this for a couple straight minutes, just kind of going on, giving my thoughts. This, as funny as it sounds, this actually might be something that we needed. That game actually might be something that we actually needed. There's 16 more left. You've got the Cowboys next week. It's a 4:25 big-time game. Dak Prescott's not playing. You get a win there, and you just kind of got to get on the roll. We got punched in the mouth against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're coming off the Super Bowl game. The Super Bowl hangover. Guys are kind of out of place, out of sorts here and there. Joe Burrow sat in his locker for an hour after the game, didn't even fucking talk to anybody. I don't know if he was seeing his demons or if he was trying to take him down. But I'm not going to guarantee this, but I will say, actually, I'll guarantee this. The team on Sunday, I think, is going to come out with a lot of fire. All right. I don't know what's going to happen because in the NFL, it's any given Sunday. But I think that team on Sunday is going to come out with a lot of fire, knowing that this game is going to be every game in the NFL is a big game. But knowing that, this one, the next one up, I think Cincinnati's going to come with a lot of fire on Sunday, knowing that it's a national televised game, knowing it's a game they really need to win. And who knows what we'll be talking about when it comes to looking back on this game later on. But, yeah, that's the spiel. I've talked about this like maybe 4 times on 4 separate occasions to different people. But I know you look at this game, Bears-Niners, the Bears ended up winning 19-10. Trey Lance did not look that good. Justin Fields was able to get his team a win in what looked like to be a monsoon at Soldier Field. I know Brady said you were kind of keeping an eye on this game. What'd you think?
Yeah, it's always, Bears are kind of like right now one of my top teams that I just root for because, Justin Fields, one of my all-time favorites, is quarterbacking for them. And, the team around him is maybe the worst team I've ever seen around worst possible set of receivers you could possibly have around somebody. And that kind of gets proven when you hear the names of who caught his touchdown passes. But,
Equinemius St. Brown and Dante Pettis, to be exact.
Those are some Pro Bowl receivers there. But I'm happy for them. They beat one of the, I would say one of the best teams in the NFL, depending on how many teams you put in that category.
Yep.
The Niners, good defense. Even in a monsoon, the Bears were able to make plays when they needed to. Trey Lance. Obviously, I'm not going to hate on Trey Lance for this game because the weather conditions were awful. I guess he didn't look great. Bears O-line was really bad, like usual. But Fields made some crazy plays back in the pocket, was like my most impressive thing, including like running up the field and like dodging people and then making throws down the field, stuff like that. So good game for the Bears. They're still not going to be good, but good. This helps them have a chance to maybe win a few games this year and not be absolutely abysmal like they could be. So yeah, I thought this was a good game, good confidence booster for the Chicago Bears, for sure.
Yeah, on the other hand, for the 49ers, I know it was a monsoon. Matt, obviously jump in if you would like, but for the Niners' sake, Trey Lance didn't play well. George Kittle was out. Deebo Samuel, they used in a couple of different ways, but he was eh. But I get it. They'll go back to San Francisco. They'll go back to Santa Clara. They'll play the Seahawks, who were the only team that won in their division this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I mean, there is concern about them. There's definitely going to be some concern about the San Francisco 49ers. I didn't get a really good chance to watch a whole lot of that game or any of that game. So we'll kind of see how that goes going forward. The next game, Chiefs Cardinals. Matt, did you get a chance to watch any of this game?
I did. This was a Matt's pick.
NFL Matt's pick. Okay. Okay.
It was. Like I said, I had a really bad week of college. So I kind of had to recuperate some funds. So Chiefs, Cardinals, over 54. Over 54. We won that sucker real good right there. Oh, yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. Mahomes just looked the Chiefs just went up and down the field like it was just nothing. Oh. You know what I mean? It was like it's like Tyreek Hill was. It was like it was nothing. Like no Tyreek. Okay, who gives a shit? Like they're playing the Cardinals. So how good are the Cardinals going to be? We don't really know yet. I'll tell you what. This Thursday night, this might be the Thursday night game of the year. This week,
first one too.
Chiefs, Chargers, man. I cannot wait
on the
for
call.
That game.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'm so
Al and Kirk on the call. That's gonna be a hell of a game.
First, it's a great way to kick off good football weekend. That's going to be really exciting. But this game, Kyler Murray's 0. I think Jaden told me Kyler Murray's 0-47 when Call of Duty's got double XP weekend now.
I saw that, and his numbers deteriorate. It might not be by a whole lot, but his numbers do deteriorate. I will say
that's crazy. So,
exactly.
The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're going to be the Chiefs. Score a lot of points. I'm just glad I won money on the game. So that's all that, right?
Man, they look smooth, though. The Chiefs did look smooth. I remember there was one pass that Patrick Mahomes threw to Travis Kelce where he just threaded the absolute needle on that. And it was just like, man, like Tyreek who? I'm not going that was a hell of a performance. That was a hell of a performance.
Who the fuck is Tyreek and why the fuck do we need him? We don't need him.
Exactly. 44-21 was the final, but at one point it was 37-7. I hope everybody remembers it was 37-7 at one point. Yeah. The Chiefs were just had the Cardinals in a chokehold for a very, very long time. They still ended up winning by 23 points, but yeah, it was. The Chiefs look so good on offense. They look good on defense as well. So obviously we cannot discount that fact. In the next game, Vikings-Packers. does Aaron Rodgers just not show up on week 1? Like, does he just kind of have a planned vacation? Because last year he looked terrible. This year he threw for less than 100 yards. And the Vikings look like the Packers should. Brady, what did you think?
Man, I thought this was crazy that Aaron Rodgers had this bad of a week 1 again. Both of the monsoon quarterbacks actually threw for more yards than Aaron Rodgers did, which is shocking. Like, but he'll be fine. He'll bounce back like he did last year, I'm assuming.
Yeah. They play the Bears on Sunday Night Football this week, so
they do.
Yeah.
They'll probably beat them by 40 like they usually do. But
we'll see.
my takeaway from this game is Justin Jefferson is absolutely so legit. Like,
insane.
I mean, I didn't think he was overrated, but I thought some people were saying this is the year he becomes the best receiver in the league, like they call it like the undisputed or like the consensus. I could see that happening. He's that good. His route running and just ability to just get in the open field is pretty crazy, and then just the way he moves is just so like fluid. He's a natural receiver. So Jefferson is ridiculous. And they also have Adam Thielen as a really good number 2, Dalvin Cook. And then Kirk Cousins isn't bad. He's a pretty solid quarterback. And then obviously their defense looked good that game. So, yeah, expect Justin Jefferson to have an absolute monster year this year for sure.
Excuse me, Aaron Rodgers did throw for 195, but he picked, but still wasn't good. Kirk was 23 for 32, 277, 2 touchdowns, and Justin Jefferson had literally 2/3 of the yards Kirk Cousins had, 9 for 184 and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, Justin Jefferson, obviously, I had him as my number 3 receiver in football. I had Adams, Kupp, Jefferson, Chase as my top 4. I think we all kind of had the same top 4, top 5. Yeah. So like said, I mean, people were saying this is the year Justin Jefferson breaks out. People were saying this is the year Jamar Chase breaks out. Justin Jefferson had a great game. Jamar Chase, I'd say, had a great game as well. Justin Jefferson in this new offense. I mean, the Vikings offense looks slick. It looks very smooth. I like what I saw from them. They're going to be a very dangerous team. 395 yards of offense on 10 drives, 126 yards rushing, and 269 through the air. They look really good. I'm going to say, I know it's week 1. Obviously, don't want to overreact here or there, but, I mean, just calling it how we saw it, it looked good. I mean, 6.5 yards per play. That's all. That's over 5 yards a play. That's almost a first down every other play. So, but yeah, they look good overall, and can't wait to see what the Vikings are able to do. I think Matt and I had them winning the division this year in the NFC North.
I did. I like the Vikings a lot. That was a very good performance there by Cousins and Jefferson for sure.
I still have the Bears winning, so
Is that right? Yeah, the monsoon players are they play in a monsoon every week. They might win it, but who knows? They play some teams.
They're a good team in the monsoon. They got some toughness. That was we got to all admit though that picture is so cold.
It is though. Yep, for sure with Fields and all. Yep, the monsters of the Midway, monsters of the monsoon for sure. But that's it. Nothing like NFC North football. And I will say this isn't on the panel, but Eagles Lions was a very underrated classic, week 1 classic this week. So, that was a hell of a game.
A lot of fantasy points for
tons of fantasy points for Matt. Tons of fantasy points everywhere.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift.
Trust me. We're going to talk about the Detroit Lions on here if they're able to put some wins on the column and everything. But then the Sunday Night Football game. The moneymaker was Tom Brady versus the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry's World. What the fuck's this? I'm not going to talk my shit. I'm not going to talk any shit because we play guys this week. But, 3 points. The Buccaneers looked all right. Their defense looked very good. We have to say it like that. And I will say it looked really it looks so weird with Julio Jones on the field for the Bucs. I mean, I think Tom Brady, like before the end of the first half, hit Julio on a deep fade route that went for about 40 yards or so, 40 or 50 yards. And it just, if they are able to consistently hit that with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin left the game, but Chris Godwin coming back, I mean, that's Topped up, like you talking about depth wise at receiver. I mean, that's a tough core right there, especially with Tom Brady throwing the football. This just looked like they weren't really able to finish any drives in the end zone and all. They had the one where this picture actually right here of Mike Mike Evans. If you look at this, actually, it's not really going to do that. But yeah, if you look at they had Mike Evans on the one-handed fade route with Trayvon Diggs covering, and we will say that. But I mean, I think the Bucs look decent. Obviously, they look suffocating to the Cowboys' offense overall. What are you guys' takes on this game?
I was doing a lot of homework at the beginning of this game, so I didn't really catch it for a minute. But for what I saw, I thought that Julio Jones looked pretty good. Like that one play, I was watching that. I was like, wow, like I didn't see that all year last year with the Titans. But when you get Tom Brady as your quarterback, you never know what'll happen with a player like Julio. But Cowboys suck. Like they can't do anything on offense. They really didn't run the ball that much from what I saw on. I think like Zeke got like 10 carries for 57 yards. So he was like 5.7. Pollard averaged like a yard per carry. He only got a couple.
Yep.
It seemed like they just tried to pass the ball, and CeeDee Lamb didn't do anything. He was on my fantasy team, so I was pretty mad about that. And then Noah Brown was the leading receiver.
Yeah, believe it or not.
It was he played at Ohio State, had one really good game he's famous for against Oklahoma. Other than that, like it's crazy that I don't even think about him that much, and I was just looking at the starting lineup and I see him and I'm just like, wow. Like
exactly, like they are really thin at receiver to say the least. Obviously, Michael Gallup out. They lost Amari Cooper, and obviously, and Cedric Wilson was a big loss. He went to Miami, and then Jalen Tolbert was out. So, there's a lot of things that were going on for Dallas, and obviously Dak, the big storyline, the injuries, probably only going to miss about 4 games from what the moneymaker Jerry Jones done said about, AT&T Jerry World Stadium and all. He's going to say he's going to miss about 4 games. But, we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about the Cowboys in their upcoming game on Sunday another time.
Yes, we will.
But this last game I want to talk about before we kind of, wrap things up. Seahawks, Broncos country. Let's ride. Broncos country. Let's ride. Hey, Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country. L across the board. Come on, man. Think about this. They had 2 fumbles inside the 5-yard line. They're literally about to go across, break the play, and they fumble it. I mean, what was that? Melvin Gordon did it? Javonte Williams did it? That also lost me fantasy points, which I'm very sad about.
Oh, man.
But damn, I mean, Russell Wilson's comeback was foiled. He was booed. The Seahawks came out. Geno Smith looked, I'm not going to say the next coming of Christ, but he looked very good. All right. He looked really, really good out there. Geno Smith was super efficient. He had like 1 incompletion. He actually had more touchdowns than incompletions in the first half.
He did.
So what did you see? I'm not going to overreact to the Seahawks because I know, I still think they're going to be
I'll tell you what I saw. What I saw.
Yeah.
What I saw was Matt Ricketts bet the Broncos -5.5. Okay, that's what I saw.
Man, I tell you, man, Saturday. It's not Saturday. It's Monday night, man.
Why do you keep betting games that just
What I tell you was the Broncos fuck me. The ball twice at the 1-yard line and they can't fucking punch it in. You gotta be shitting me. That's ridiculous. So I was very frustrated. The second time they fumbled, I turned the motherfucker off. Turned the goddamn TV off. So I didn't even see the kick at the end. What a terrible play call there by Hackett or whatever the fuck his name is. Nathaniel something.
Nathaniel Hackett, yes.
4th and 5. They're going to kick the second longest.
You paid $250 million for Russell Wilson.
The second longest kick in NFL history. You're going to try to kick when you got a fucking Russell Wilson on 4th and 5. You can't get you got to try to get the first down there. You can't bank on, unless you have Justin Tucker or Adam Vinatieri or somebody that's got fucking golden leg. You can't bank on a 64-yarder going in. Like you
this
can't.
Isn't
you got to try to get the fucking first down.
It's not. You're not playing a
Right.
mile high where the ball carries. Like that's. You're not doing that.
So-
You're in Seattle of all
Long-
places. You're the
Long
12th
story
man.
short, there. Fuck the Broncos. Fuck Russell Wilson, and fuck Nathaniel Hackett.
All right, we'll be sending that message to them. Brady, what'd you see?
I obviously, again, I did not have I didn't have Matt's situation. I was just watching this game for fun. What I saw was the Broncos losing to who I thought may be the worst team in the NFL this year. And I thought the Seahawks might be getting that number 1 pick for next year, but I don't know. They snuck up, won the game against the Broncos, who people thought would have a problem. Beat Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot. Geno Smith looked really good. Really liked what I saw from him. Jerry Jeudy had that big touchdown. I thought the defense, neither defense was awful. I mean, both defenses looked solid. I mean, honestly, the Seahawks defense was giving up some drives. It's just, that unfortunate events Matt talked about happened for his sake. But overall, this was a very interesting game, to say the least.
For sure. The Seahawks, like you said, like the Broncos moved the ball down the field. Russell Wilson had almost 350 yards passing, but the Seahawks defense made plays when they needed to, right when they were on the tightrope of giving up a touchdown. They did it twice. They
did.
Actually didn't say the third time when the Broncos kicked the field goal. When they made the field goal to make it a 1-point ball game, the Seahawks defense stood up strong. And Geno Smith, I'll tell you this. I know we were talking about C.J. Stroud, being number 1 pick. Maybe it's Seattle. There's a 7 in Seattle. There's a number 7 in Seattle, and I don't know if he wants to leave right now. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's only week 1, but
he will want to get the number 1 pick. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
They get number 1 pick, he's out. But
yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you're saying about
shit,
that.
Geno.
He looks good.
I don't know if the Seahawks are going to be bad enough to get the number 1 pick now. I they looked good last night. It's going to be how well can Geno play throughout the rest of the year. I just don't know if they're going to be bad enough. I don't know if they're going to be the worst team in the league. Put it that way.
Geno should just pretend like he's playing against Big 12 defenses like he did in college every week, and then they'll be good.
Yeah. I mean, who do you think the worst team in the league is? It might end up being fucking Dallas if Cooper Kupp fucking sucks, or Cooper Rush, or whatever the fuck his name is.
It could be. Who knows? But, I mean, I would still say a team like the Jags or Texans and, maybe even the
I think the Texans.
Even if the Giants won, I still think they're going to suck pretty bad. But they did get that nice win. I don't know. I'd probably say the Jaguars right now.
I'll tell you this. On Geno Smith's watch, I'll tell you this. They wrote me off, but I ain't right back. That's all I had to say last night.
That was a hell of a line.
That was a hell of a line. That's
a
hell of a line. I'll tell you that.
I'll give him that.
Yep.
Before we wrap things up, though.
I mean, good for him.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, that was
Good for
awesome.
him, though. I mean,
this is a 10-year vet now.
Everybody talking shit about him. He's been in the league for 10 years. He came out and had a hell of a coming out party last night in the first half.
Yep.
Coming out party, let's rephrase. But yes. Sorry. Everything now, never mind. I'm not even going to talk about it. But yeah. NFL opening weekend, I will say, from one of the for the games that we obviously did not talk about, bring up one of them that you might have saw or one that really caught your eyes before we wrap things up. I'll start with Matt. Any games that really caught your eye that we did not talk about?
The Eagles and Lions, we didn't break it down.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game either. I saw a lot of highlights about. I mean,
that's true.
Like I told you guys, I like the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to make the Super Bowl this year. I got the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. They scored 38 points. I mean, the Lions too, sneaky team in that.
Don't
NFC
count them out. Do not
it
count
wouldn't
them
shock
out.
me. It wouldn't shock me if the Lions find a way to sneak in the playoffs, maybe even compete for the division. Who knows? That Lions offense is freaking good, man. If Jared Goff could play well, watch out for the Lions. I mean, that was a high-scoring game, 38-35.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a fantasy. I mean, I had Swift and St. Brown for Detroit. I mean, that was awesome. So watch out for those two teams. I thought that was a really exciting game. Wish I would have had it on the TV, but we were watching, obviously, the Bengals-Steelers.
Right.
So, but those are two teams I'm going to keep an eye on for the rest of the year, too, in terms of just offensive firepower. That was an exciting game to look at afterwards.
Most definitely. What'd you think, Brady?
I'll
was yours?
probably go with Saints Falcons. You know, that was another good game, 1
It
o'clock.
was. Mhm.
You know, there was some Jameis looked really bad, I thought, from when I had it on a little bit in the first half, just taking random sacks, and he was not moving well in the pocket. But then he really had a really good fourth quarter, connecting to all of his, you know, the big three receivers, obviously being Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and Chris Olave. Michael Thomas, man, happy to see him get back in there. Scored 2 touchdowns against A.J. Terrell, who did not give up a single touchdown last year. Glad to see him not playing very good because I don't like A.J. Terrell very much. But I really do. I like to. That was a good game, you know, down to the wire type of game. The Falcons didn't look as bad as I expected them to. Kyle Pitts did nothing, and he was a main fantasy player, so I just traded him today. I just got mad about it. I traded him. But yeah, you know, I got some good value out of it. You know, I traded Jaden.
Okay, you got good assets.
I got Zeke, Cole Kmet, and Devontae Smith for Michael Carter, Kyle Pitts, and
Wow. Kyle Pitts. You know, Kyle Pitts and Drake London combined for 1 catch for 6 yards or something crazy like that. Was that what it was?
It's almost like we talked about that in our Twitter chat.
That's what it was. Oh, you guys were the ones that sent it to me?
I sent that to you.
That was Brady that sent that, yeah.
I thought that was Caleb that sent that to me. My bad. Well,
No, that was me.
tell the folks at home. Tell the folks at home. Kyle Pitts had a really bad week.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Don't
Marshawn
get up.
when Marshawn Lattimore was guarding him.
Mm-hmm. For
But,
sure.
like, that's like what the stat was. Like, I'm pretty
I
sure.
thought that was, for some reason, I thought Caleb was the one that said that to me. That's my fault.
Yeah, that was me. It's good. You're good.
Yeah, we all tweak a little bit here and there. And before we wrap things up, the game that I was actually thinking about, I didn't even get a chance to really watch it. Giants Titans.
Oh,
I mean, think about that. Daniel Jones is 17 for 21, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Ryan Tannehill didn't look bad himself. He was 20 for 33, 266 and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But the real story, okay, other than Derrick Henry getting actually blown up on one of these plays, and I'm not going to really, overblow stuff. But on the other side, he got outplayed. Saquon Barkley, 18 carries, 164 yards and a touchdown. I mean, Saquon, is he back? I don't know.
I think he is.
Looks really good.
Yeah, he did.
Got to wait and see for sure. But I mean, that's huge for him. Huge for the Giants too, obviously. But I mean, they got to have some sort of running game with fucking Danny Dimes back there. So I mean, you got to have some kind of offense.
Exactly. Like, you look at Saquon, it was 18 for 164 and a touchdown, average 9 yards a carry. The Giants as a team ran for 238 yards on the ground, which was, I think, was the one of the top 3 highest rushing totals for a team in week 1. He had 6 catches for 30 yards, actually. I believe he had a 2-point conversion. So Saquon Barkley, if I'm trying to think of fantasy football terms, 16.4 points and plus the 2-point bonus for 100 yards, 18.4 plus a 6 would be 24.4. PPR league, you're at 30.4, and then 30 yards, you're looking at 33.4 fantasy points this week.
Yep.
That was a hell of a week for whoever had Saquon Barkley. That's probably number 2 back. I mean, that's what people were thinking and all that.
Yeah.
And thank you, Matt. But yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anybody got any other things they'd like to say before we wrap things up?
I just want to say another, great weekend of football. We really take these weekends for granted. Really excited for week 3, or week 3.
Well, week 3 for college, and
this week. Really excited for September.
This weekend. Yep. This weekend.
Yeah, we got a night game. We got a night game in the Horseshoe. It's gonna be a lot of beers flowing for me. I can't wait.
Are you gonna be over?
I mean, I'm gonna be over at the old Dong's house right here, little Dong. So it's gonna be. I mean, I'm excited. There's some really good college football games on this week, but I think I'm really, really, really excited for kicking it off Thursday night with the barn burner out there in KC with the Chiefs and the Chargers. That's going to be, I'm telling you, that might just go down as the best Thursday night game of the year in week 2. We're going to remember it.
They're kicking off.
It's going to be a good one. I can't wait.
Yep.
Until
Kicking
the
off
Chiefs
the
win by 20 points. I'm just playing.
Yeah, the Amazon campaign, man. It's the first regular season Amazon Prime game they're going to be showing. And I mean, think about it, it's Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, a couple poster childs for the National Football League. Al Michaels is on the call. That's going to be interesting. Kirk Herbstreit's on the call too. Kirk Herbstreit. Okay, let's see how that goes. They did a preseason game together, but this should be fun. This should be really fun to see how stuff shakes out. But man, another great weekend of football. Cannot take these for granted. It's always fun talking football here on the Cut the Chase Sports Podcast. But with that being said, I'm Chase Shantz, Matt Ricketts, Brady King, and we will see you guys on Thursday.
Bengals.
Hopefully we'll hear it a lot. Yeah. Bum, bum. And we'll see you.